Hallelujah. First of all, I'd like to give all honor and praise to the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, the great, mighty, revered God, the Most High God, who restores his loving kindness and blesses all things, who remembers the pious deeds of the patriarchs, the Most High, slow of anger, great in kindness, forgiving iniquity and transgressions, but who by no means clear the guilty, visiting iniquities of fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation. The Most High's work is perfect for all his ways of justice, a God of faithfulness and without iniquity, just and right and seat. May we see it. Giving due respect and honor to a head in Israel, chief of the liaison, to the chiefmen, princes, mother in Israel, brothers and sisters. I say unto the tongue of my forefathers, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, God.
We are God's chosen people. Yes, we are. Jacob was chosen by God.
That's right.
And his children that he had after was chosen by God.
That's right.
These people that we read about was chosen by God. We have to work our way back into being accepted by God. Because we have done things, we have done the works that brought death. We have done the works that brings death to us. So therefore, we have to work our way back into good graces with God by taking heed to his laws, commandments, and statutes, by fulfilling these laws, commandments, and statutes, by taking heed to your ways and ordering your ways according to the ways of God. We're going to go into some Leviticus chapter 15. We're going to go into Leviticus chapter 15. These are the cleanliness laws.
Yeah.
How you become unclean, what to do when you become unclean, how to get clean. And there are certain uncleannesses. When you get unclean, there's no way to get back clean. Because there is different uncleannesses, a different uncleanness that you need the high priest to clean you, to cleanse you from. And being that we don't have a high priest to clean us, like being unclean from the dead. Right. You can't become clean from that. No. And whatsoever a person touches that is unclean by the dead is unclean. If a person that's unclean by the dead touch this podium is unclean. If he touches a chair, it becomes unclean. If he touches the bed, anything he touches becomes unclean. There is nowhere in the book that tells us that we can wash it in water. There's nowhere in the book that tells us we can pass it through fire. The same way with the uncleanness of man and woman. See, people got the erroneous idea that when a woman in her uncleanness, in her nidata, in her menstruation, whatsoever she sit on, the chair becomes clean when she becomes clean. But there's nowhere in the book that states that. Because God said that chair is for her separation. And we need to stop making excuses when it comes to the laws and the commandments of God because it doesn't suit you. That's right. This is why we come up with excuses. and why we can't do these laws here. And you only do whatever you want to do. You would only bind yourself and sacrifice yourself to the fulfilling of the commandments of God when you had made your mind up to serve this glorious God, this merciful God, this compassionate God. Why? Because it's owed to him. The mercy and the compassion that God have, all I could do is to show God that I'm thankful for God, for you, by fulfilling his commandments, by fulfilling his laws. So when I'm thankful of God, I sacrifice myself to fulfill the things that pleases God. There's not enough sacrificing going on here. There's not enough sacrificing going on here. We got to sacrifice to fulfill these laws. Because if you don't sacrifice, guess what? It's never going to get done. All we're going to continue to do is make excuses of why it's not being done, why I can't do this, why I can't do the other. Fit your schedule around the laws of God. Your schedule is around these commandments, around these laws, around these commandments. Why? So that I will be able to fulfill my duty.
That's right.
He said that's the whole duty of man.
That's right.
What is the whole duty of man? To fear God and keep his commandments. Because if you don't fear God, you're not going to keep his laws.
That's right.
Keeping God's commandments shows and denotes fear.
That's right.
I'm afraid.
That's right. To break that.
To break these laws.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to break these laws. But fear builds in time.
That's right. Don't come over now.
When you are afraid, that has to build in time.
Don't come over now.
You know what's the beginning of fear? You know how fear begins to build? I wasn't afraid of not washing until I started doing it. I have to activate it. I got to start fulfilling the law
To be
afraid.
to break it.
To break it.
Uh-oh.
I got to fulfill the law in order to be afraid to break
You
it.
gotta be doing it.
So I have to start somewhere. So if I'm not fulfilling these commandments, I'm never going to fear God.
Don't be scared.
You're not going to be scared. And that's the beginning of building your fear for God. You have to accomplish and fulfill the commandments of God so I can start fearing. So fear can set in.
It's the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God.
The beginning of wisdom is the fear of God.
Yeah.
Huh? And what is wisdom? Wisdom is the keeping of the commandments of the laws of God.
Yeah.
And that's where wisdom comes from.
Yeah.
That's how we receive wisdom. Wisdom comes through what? The performance of the laws of God. So your understanding of the commandments of God is going to be a little distorted if you keep sinning presumptuously. It's not going to be correct. Everything not going to be correct. Check a person's lifestyle first before I start listening and taking his word. I got to double check now. Let's go. Leviticus chapter 15.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when any man hath a running issue out of his flesh.
Okay, hold that. He said, when any man had a running issue. Okay? A running issue, the Hebrew word for a running issue is zab. When you look up the definition of zab, we didn't have sexually transmitted diseases back then.
Thank you.
Okay? Zab means anything that flows, trickle, or drip. But now, when we get this sexually transmitted diseases, gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, it causes you to drip and trickle and flow through your genitals. So when that happens, you are unclean. You are unclean. And when you are unclean by this running issue, have to be aware of these laws, commandments, and statutes, not to come in skin contact with people that's doing these laws, commandments, and statutes. I have to be aware of these things. These are the things that God said to be on guard for. These are the things that God said to be aware of. Be aware of these things. Because a person that is aware of these things are only people that take these laws, commandments, and statutes seriously. That's the only way you're going to be aware. That depends on how serious you take the laws of God. If I don't take the laws of God seriously, I take it lightly, I'll go and cohabitate with a woman and just come outside and just like nothing and just touch everybody and do this, not aware of who's doing the uncleanness law or not.
That's right.
Because you don't think too highly about God's laws. So I don't care about none of that. Okay? Running issue, time sheet.
When any man hath a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue, he is unclean.
Because of his issue, he is unclean. Time sheet.
And this shall be his uncleanness in his issue. Whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue, it is his uncleanness.
Okay.
Every bed whereon he lieth that had the issue is unclean.
Okay. So when a man has a trickle, a flow, a drip in his private part, the law states that every bed whereon he lieth that hath the issue is unclean. Right? Go ahead. And everything
whereon he sits,
everything you sit on shall be unclean. So now we cannot take secondhand chairs.
That's right.
If you are not buying new chairs, then you have to be circumspect of where these chairs came from, because a man in his uncleanness could have sat in that chair and made that chair unclean. And if I sit in that chair, I become unclean. If I lay in that bed that he lied on, I become unclean. But God did say to put a separation between the clean and the unclean, between holy and profane. That's what my father used to always say. He said, why you got so much dirty clothes packed up? He said, if you are fulfilling the commandments of God, you are not going to have laundry bags full of clothes. You know why? Because these clothes that's in that laundry bag are clothes that I sat where it was unclean. And do you know yo, man, this is deep, man. And we don't look at it as serious. But every day that goes on is sin on us. This is iniquity imputed on your soul because you have not decided to wash these clothes before sunset, because you done sat in an unclean chair or laid in a bed that was unclean. Now what? Oh, I ain't practicing it. I ain't doing that law. But guess what? God is still charging you, man, for that law.
Man, that's different.
You're not afraid.
Man, that's different.
Huh? I said, you're not afraid?
Man, that's different.
Do we know the damage that we are doing to our spirit by not fulfilling these commandments, these statutes, these judgments that God gave us? I said, you're not afraid of the damage that is doing to your spirit, not your body. Sin corrupts your spirit. Sin damages your spirit. Sin corrupts your mind. It alters your thinking pattern. This is deep, man. This ain't no joke, man. And this is why we're so far away from God, because we look at these laws very lightly. Very lightly. If my father wasn't sure about a chair, he ain't sitting in it. He ain't sitting in that chair. He'll stand up. 100 degrees, he kept his skin covered because he didn't want to come in contact with nobody that was unclean, and people laughed at him. They laughed and made joke of him. But I covered myself up for the sake of the commandments of God, because I didn't want to come in contact with an unclean vessel. With a person that was unclean, that's going to make me unclean.
Right.
Now I got to wash my flesh and bathe and wash my clothes before sunset.
Pioneer.
Time sheet.
Verse 5. And whosoever toucheth his bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening.
And be unclean until the evening. Time
And
sheet.
he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat that had the issue shall wash his clothes.
And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat that had the issue,
shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the
So
evening.
a man that had the issue sit in the chair, I go and sit in that chair, I'm unclean. I got to wash my clothes, I got to bathe my flesh, and be unclean until evening. Go ahead.
And he that toucheth the flesh of him that had the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening.
One thing my father said, he said, you don't touch with your feet. You touch with your hands. So if I didn't come in contact by touching this person, then I'm not unclean. I'm not unclean. Go ahead.
If he that hath the issue spit upon him,
If I have an issue and I'm talking and spit come out of my mouth and touch you, you're unclean. You got to wash your flesh. Go ahead.
then he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water.
And be unclean until the evening.
Verse 9. And what saddle soever he rideth upon.
And what saddle? The definition of saddle is mirkab. Mirkab is a seat or a chair inside a vehicle or a chariot. So if I go into a car and I sit in that chair, the only thing that is unclean is the chair, not the car.
Not the car.
That's the chair.
Keys.
Okay, time sheet.
And whosoever toucheth anything that was under him shall be unclean until the evening.
Whosoever what?
Toucheth anything that was under him shall be unclean until the
Shall be
evening.
unclean to the evening. Read.
And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water.
And he that beareth any of those things.
Carry.
So anything you sit on and I carry it, then what?
And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in
Wash
water.
his clothes
and be unclean until the
and be
evening.
unclean until the evening. Read.
And whomsoever he toucheth that hath the issue and hath not rinsed his hands in water.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And God didn't put an explanation for that. But if I got an issue and I go and wash my hands and touch you,
I'm good.
I don't transfer the uncleanness.
That's not
I don't know why. And God didn't explain that. My job is just to read and do.
It's not the question why.
My job is not to question what God said. My job is not to question what I'm reading here.
Do or not.
Okay? Do it without question. That's it. That's what Abraham had. Abraham had blind allegiance. And he believed everything God said to him without having to question what God said. So when we question these laws, we're questioning God. Realize something, that the first 5 books was quoted out of the mouth of God. So when we disagree with anything in these first 5, we disagreeing with God. I don't have nothing to do with this. We're disagreeing with God. Tom, see?
Whomsoever he toucheth that had the issue and had not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening.
Unclean to even.
Verse 12. And the vessel of earth that
The
he
vessel
toucheth,
of earth is a keli kadesh. A keli, a vessel or cup, right? Made of pottery or clay or earthen vessels. This is why I don't have earthen vessel plates and cups. You know those plates that's not glass and it's not plastic?
ceramic.
It's ceramics.
Ceramic.
If we are fulfilling the commandments and the laws of God, we're not going to have ceramics in our houses. You know why? Because, go ahead, read the law.
And the vessel of earth that he toucheth, which had the issue, shall be broken.
The vessel of earth, which he toucheth, that had the issue, shall be broken. So I had a relative pass on, give me some plates and bowls.
Yeah.
I didn't check it. But when I brought it into the house, I opened it, first thing came to my mind, this is earthen vessel. I don't know who came in contact with this earthen vessel.
Right.
I don't know who came in. I'm not going to speculate.
Okay.
We always must play it safe when we're dealing with the laws and the commandments of God, because we're playing with our lives. Not because you gave it. Not all gifts you can accept. First, you have to scan it. Scan it. Is it acceptable by the laws of God? So these plates and these cups and these spoons that's made from ceramic must be broken and thrown out. But this only going to get done by the ones that are determined to fulfill these commandments, to fulfill these laws, to become better with God. That's the only way you're going to become better. I said, this is the only way we will become better in the eyes of God. We must honor and take heed to these laws so that we can become better in the eyes of God. This is what makes us better. You shouldn't have ceramics. Get rid of your ceramics, Israel. You got ceramics in the house, break it and get rid of it. You shouldn't even buy it from the store.
No.
You know why you shouldn't buy it from the store? It's new. It's new. I just bought it from the store. Yeah. But the person handling it could have had an issue. You don't know. You're not sure. The same way you go into these stores and buy meat that died of itself, and you ain't sure of how the animal died, you don't know how the animal died. But we thrust the laws of God behind our backs because we are riotous eaters of flesh. And we take the meat and we scourge and gorge it. One brother said, I'd rather buy halal.
No good. No talk.
No good.
No bueno.
I don't buy halal.
No.
I don't buy kosher.
No.
You know why? Because you're taking man's word.
That's right. We can't do that.
I don't take man's word
Over God.
over God.
Yeah.
In order for me to eat this meat, I got to be sure that that animal was hunted
I have to know for sure.
and killed
The proper way. It's dressed the proper way.
and drained.
That's right.
So if this meat wasn't hunted, the blood drained out, I don't want no parts of it. I'm not going to take chances and buy halal meat. Now you're taking Lulu's. Now you're a Muslim now.
Imam prayed over it.
Huh?
All it means, all
Sound like
halal
Tupac.
means-
Oh, now you're a Muslim now.
all it
No more.
means-
You're a Muslim.
all it means prayed over by the imam.
Huh?
Just like kosher.
That's all. Prayed over by the rabbi.
Kosher only means approved by the rabbi.
That's right.
And the rabbi don't go by the Torah.
No.
You know what the rabbi go by?
Judaism.
Judaism.
Judaism. That's right.
And Judaism is a mixture of Christianity, Hebrewism,
Zoroaster.
and Zoroastrianism.
That's right.
That's what Judaism is a mixture of.
That's right. Zero, I mean, Father.
Let's read.
Zero, actually.
And the vessel of earth that he toucheth, which he hath the issue, he shall be broken.
So
And
the
every
vessel of earth are things that are made from ceramics, pottery, clay. Those are earthen vessels. We should not have plates and cups of earthen vessels of pottery or ceramics because we don't know who came in contact with those ceramics.
That's right.
If you are unclean or had an issue and I touch these plates that are ceramics, God said I must break it. Break it and get rid of it. Tom C.
And every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water.
Now God tells you what you can rinse in water.
He tells you.
You can't rinse the ceramic in water
No.
because that's not going to make it clean.
No effect.
God said destroy it, get rid of it. It's not going to have no effect.
That's right.
The vessel of wood now, you have to rinse it in water And you can use that vessel of wood. Tom, see?
And when he that hath an issue is cleansed of his issue.
And when he that hath the issue, again, the Hebrew word for issue is zab, which means anything that trickles, flow, or drip, or what causes you to trickle, flow, or drip when you have a sexually transmitted diseases, chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, infection, right? In your pubic area, it causes you to drip and leak pus. You are unclean. Whatever you sit on is unclean. Whatever you lie on is unclean. If I come in skin contact with a person, that person is unclean. He has to wash his flesh and bathe his clothes in water. Wash his clothes in water and be clean until even. Tom Sheep.
Then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing.
7 days for his cleansing.
And wash his clothes.
And
bathe his flesh in running water.
And
shall be clean.
It shall be clean. Tom Sheep.
And on the 8th day he shall take to him 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons and come before the Lord unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation and give them unto the priest. And the priest shall offer them the one for
I ain't read about too many birds that we dealt with. You read about pigeons, turtle doves. Solomon said fatted fowls, which was geese, quails. Notice when you read Leviticus 11, it never specified the clean birds.
What make the birds too.
I said it never specified the clean birds. And this is why me, Chief SHABBAT, I am very skeptical on eating highly skeptical on eating birds. If I look, because it never showed or gave a description of the clean birds. It all spoke about the unclean birds. It's not too many. It's very few clean birds that we used and that we ate. That's why
God gave them.
You read here where it says pigeons, turtle doves, okay, quails. All right, go ahead, Tom Sheep. So now, after you become clean, we have to go and bring up two turtle doves, 2 young pigeons, right, before God at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and give them to the priest, because the priest is gonna do his things and offer it up for a sin offering. So anytime we become unclean, it is iniquity. Therefore, we have to send up that offering. This is why my father said, he said, told his daughters one time, he said, when you become unclean, you should confess. Confess your iniquities when you become unclean. When you get off your ministration, you should confess that. Why? Because at the end of a woman's uncleanness, she has to bring up an offering, a sin offering towards the high priest to set up before God to make atonement for that iniquity. Women ain't start getting unclean until Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
That's right.
I said, woman did not start getting unclean until Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Everything got distorted. The bodies got distorted, malfunction, chemical imbalance. Things start malfunctioning in our bodies. Because iniquity is in the earth. Now we begin to die. The process of death has begun.
And the priest shall offer them the one for a sin offering,
the one for a sin offering,
and the other for a burnt offering,
and the other for a burnt offering.
And the priest shall make an atonement before him, before the Lord, for his issue. And if any man see the copulation go out from him,
there it goes. And any man see a copulation goes out.
Go out from him. Then he shall wash all his flesh in water.
Okay. The seed of copulation is called semen. Okay, sperm, semen. Okay, when that goes out and leaves out from a man's genitals, right? Then he shall wash his flesh in water and be unclean until even. When that happens, that happens during nocturnal emissions, or if you have cohabitation, or you have been cohabitating with your wife or with your concubine, right? When that happens, you become unclean. The seed of copulation is what makes you unclean.
Yeah.
This is why I need to go in the shower and wash before sunset. And be unclean until even. Okay, Tom sheet.
And if any man see the copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the even. And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation.
Whatever garment, whatever sheets, whatever clothes, whatever skin, anything the seed of copulation come in contact with is unclean and must wash. Must go into the water. Tom sheet.
Shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even. The woman also, with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the even.
Tom sheet.
And if a woman have an issue,
and if a woman have an issue, Tom sheet,
and her issue in her flesh be blood,
and her issue in her flesh be blood, that is her menstruation. Okay, go ahead.
She shall be put apart 7 days.
She shall be put apart 7 days. Go ahead.
And whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the even.
If I come in contact with a woman that's on her menstruation, I'm unclean until even. I don't have to wash my clothes. I don't have to wash my flesh. Okay, go ahead.
And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean.
And everything that she lieth upon in her separation, in her nidata, in her menstruation, shall be unclean. There is nowhere in this chapter that tells us or explains to us when those things that she lieth upon becomes clean. It is to her for her separation. Nowhere in the book says or states where the bed becomes clean again. This is why when a woman was on her menstruation, she was set apart. She was set apart and put away for 7 days. And she was put in a separate house, her own quarters, because we have to be aware of where we sit and lie on. Okay, we have to be aware of where we sit and lie on in your menstruation, in your uncleanness. Tom, see?
And everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean.
And every what?
And everything also that she sitteth upon.
Everything that a woman sit on in her menstruation is unclean. There's nowhere in the book that states that everything that chair becomes clean when she becomes clean. It don't say that. Nowhere in the book states that. Tom, see?
And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening.
Now the woman done sat in her bed. When you touch her bed, you become unclean. Now you have to wash your clothes and you have to bathe your flesh, and you will be clean at even. Go ahead.
And whosoever toucheth anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until even.
Tom, see?
And if it be on her bed.
And if it be on her bed, if what be on her bed? If her menstruation be upon her bed, okay?
Or on anything whereon she sitteth, then he touch it. When he toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the evening.
Okay. Read what's that? 23?
23.
Read that over.
And if it be on her bed.
And if it be on her bed.
Or on anything whereon she sitteth.
Okay. What verse was that? 23?
23.
I want to look up the definition of bed to see what it says in the Hebrew. Okay. Mishkah. Yeah. A bed. A couch. Right. Okay. Go ahead.
And if it be on her bed or on anything whereon she sitteth.
Or on anything whereon she sitteth.
When he toucheth it.
When he toucheth it.
He shall be unclean until
he shall be unclean until even.
And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon her.
And if a man lie with her at all, you happen to cohabitate with a woman and her nidata, her menstruation, comes on you. This is why we have to be very careful. Don't play it too close. The woman knows her times when she's supposed to get unclean. That space of time when she's about to get unclean, don't play around. Because another part in the book says when a man has deflowered a woman in her menstruation, God said you're cut off. And that's not in this chapter. But in another chapter, in another book, it states that a man, God will cut you off. Tamshi, you had discovered the woman's fountain. Tamshi.
And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days.
He shall be unclean 7 days. So you have sex, cohabitate with a woman, and her menstruation comes upon you. You are now unclean for 7 days. Okay, Tamshi.
And all the bed whereon he
everything you sit on
shall be unclean.
Shall be unclean.
And if a woman have an issue of her
and
blood,
on the bed whereon he lieth. Wait a minute. And if any man lie with her at all, read.
And her flowers be upon him.
And her flowers be upon him.
He shall be unclean.
He shall be unclean 7 days.
And all the bed
whereon he lieth
shall be
unclean. Wait a minute. I don't see where it says everything that he sitteth upon.
That's excluded.
And I just seen it.
My eyes just open, brother.
I didn't see it. I don't see it there.
I said my eyes.
I only see where it says, and everything that he lieth upon becomes unclean.
Go over that verse real quick.
Let's go back over. Let's read 23 over again. I gotta read that over.
Leviticus chapter 15, verse 24.
23. Go back to 23. Go back one verse.
Leviticus 15, verse 23.
Yeah, I gotta read that over. That blew my mind. And that's why you gotta read these laws every day. You don't get it all at once. I'm thinking on your menstruation.
That's why you made me read it over.
Yeah, read that over.
And if it be on her bed.
And if it be on her bed.
Or on anything whereon she sitteth. When he touch it. He shall be unclean.
He shall be unclean until the evening. I don't have to wash my flesh, and I don't have to wash my clothes.
Right.
Whatever if I touch the blood itself, I'm just unclean until the evening.
That's it. But
what's the difference between you touching it and you going into a woman? You see the difference? God don't explain none of that. God knows the reason why. We can't bust our brain and act and question God about why this and why the other. Why is it different? We gotta stop doing that. And this is what we as a people, we always want to question the book.
How? Why?
We can't question the book, man. Let's do it. Read it and do it. Tamshi.
And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be
Which means he cohabitated with a woman, and her menstruation got on him while he was cohabitating with her. Read.
He shall be unclean.
He shall be unclean 7 days.
And all the bed whereon he lieth. Shall be unclean.
Shall be unclean. It don't mention nothing about sitting. So if I sit on a chair, I don't make it unclean. Only if I lie on it. Only if I lay on it.
It's a difference.
It's a difference. Go ahead.
If a woman have an issue of her blood, many days out of the time of her separation.
Okay, many days out of the time of her separation. What is the number of days for the woman in her separation? 7 days. So when it says when she have an issue of her blood many days, which means she bled past the 7 days. So now, let me explain it now. This is the 7-day cleansing. Okay? Menstruation thing. If you bleed 4 days, you are still, and you stop on the 4th day, on the 5th day, you're not bleeding, you are unclean. You are still unclean for 3 more days. If I bleed for 6 days, I'm still unclean for one more day. If I bleed for 2 days, on the 3rd day, I stop, you're still unclean. You are still unclean. Okay? You got 5 days. You must complete the 7-day period.
Right.
Now, when you bleed out of the many days, you bled past the 7 days.
Right.
If you bleed 4 days and stop, you got 3 days, right? Right? You bleed 4 days. The 5th day, you ain't bleed again. The 6th day, you ain't bleed. On the 7th day, you end up spotting, stop counting. Don't count, because wait until you stop bleeding, and then you got to count over. A lot of women are not taught how to count their menstruation.
Right.
According to what God said.
Right.
According to these laws, commandments, and statutes. Okay, let's read that.
And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time
of her separation,
or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean. Every bed whereon she lieth, all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation.
So what that means? As I said, what that mean now? Listen, let me read that again.
Yeah. Every bed
whereon she lieth, all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation. So that bed has been labeled.
Right.
This bed and this chair is labeled. It's labeled. It's quarantined. It is for her separation. When she is unclean, that's where she lay at. That's where she sit at. Don't go sitting all over the house. Don't go lying all over the beds. Don't lying all over the place, making everything unclean. You think I care if I just bought that couch? You think I care if I just bought this chair? You think I care? But for the sake of the laws of God, it's going in the garbage.
That's right.
Huh? Tom sheep.
Okay.
And whatsoever
she sitteth upon shall be unclean. As the uncleanness of her separation. And whosoever toucheth those things shall be unclean. And shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. But if she be cleansed
and
of
whosoever toucheth those things shall be unclean. And shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. You come in contact with the chair that woman in her separation sat on, you become unclean. If you lie on it, you become unclean. You know, before you get it right, before we get these laws correct and right, we're going to be doing it wrong. Because God wants to see how fervent you are, how faithful and loyal you are in fulfilling these laws wrong before you get it right. You know how many years my father used to take a chair that a woman sat on that made that chair unclean and run it through the water? And we didn't read nowhere in this book where God said any chair that a woman sat on in her uncleanness, you could run it through the water. But we ran it through the water. And we did it, and we was faithful in doing that. But then God took us back into the book and showed us where there is nothing you can do.
No reversal.
To make that chair clean again. After a woman on her nidata or her menstruation that she sat on. Tom sheep.
But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be unclean. And on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and bring them unto the priest, the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. The priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord, for the issue of her uncleanness. Thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, that they die not
in their uncleanness.
When they defile my tabernacle
that is among them.
This is the law of him.
This is the law of him
that hath the issue.
And
of him whose seed goeth from him,
from him,
and is defiled therewith.
And of her
that is sick of her flowers, and of him that hath the issue of the man, and of the woman, and of him that lieth with her that is unclean.
Leviticus chapter 22.
What? Sir.
Leviticus chapter 22.
Her that is sick of flowers.
Sick of her flowers. She's not well.
So, you got it?
Leviticus chapter 22.
Leviticus chapter 22.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel, and that they profane not my holy name in those things which they hallow unto me. I am the Lord.
Who?
That's it. They're restricted.
He said, read that in.
Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel.
You must put a separation between the holy and the unholy, between the holy and the profane. You must put a separation between these things. Even the priest got to put a separation between that. Tamshi.
And that they profane not my holy name.
And when we don't make a separation between the clean and between the holy and the profane, we profane God's name.
Profane his holy name.
We profane his name. Go ahead.
And that they profane not my holy name in those things which they hallow unto me. I am the Lord. Verse 3. Say unto them, whosoever he be of all your seed among your generations, that goeth
unto the holy things
which the children of Israel hallow unto the Lord, having his uncleanness upon him, that soul shall be cut off.
That soul shall be cut off
from my presence.
From my presence.
I am the Lord.
I am the Lord. Nikrita is the word for cut off. He shall be cut off, estranged, denied,
unaccepted.
Come on, man. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Verse 4.
What man soever of the seed of Aaron is a leper?
What man soever of the seed of Aaron that is a leper, which means leprosy. Leprosy is a skin disease. Okay? Eczema is a form of leprosy. You have many different forms of leprosy. You have some forms of leprosy that would disform, that would disfigure you, that would eat away on your limbs. So we have different forms of leprosy. Eczema is one of them. Tamshi.
Or had a running issue.
Or had a running issue. The Hebrew word for a running issue is zahab, which means anything that flows or trickle or drip. We went through that with Leviticus 15. Things that causes you to trickle or flow, like a sexual transmitted disease. Tamshi.
He shall not eat of the holy things.
He shall not eat of the holy things.
Until he be clean.
Until he be clean.
And whoso toucheth anything that is unclean by the dead.
And whosoever toucheth anything that is unclean by the dead. Anything that a person that is unclean by the dead touch this. This is unclean. And if I touch it, I become unclean. But there are certain uncleannesses that we can't get rid of because we need a high priest. And we don't have a high priest to get rid of these uncleannesses. So now we got to rock on and live the rest of our lives being unclean before God.
That's right.
But that's the position and the state that God put us in. Because when we have free reigns to fulfill these commandments, we defecated on it.
That's right.
And guess what? We are in Brooklyn, New York, and we still defecating on God.
Yeah.
We still defecating on God. Still. So what makes you think you're going to get these laws clearly? What makes you think you're going to get this? You ain't going to never get this. God is going to continue to keep that bridle in your mouth, leading you according to the lust of your own heart. Because we're not putting forth, we're not stepping up and showing God that this is what we want. Go ahead, read.
Or a man whose seed goeth from him.
Okay, whosoever toucheth anything that is unclean by the dead, or a man whose seed goeth from him. In Leviticus 15, it didn't state that if I touch a man whose seed goeth from him, becomes unclean. One brother said that this is for the priests. It's talking about the priests. I said, didn't God say we will be a nation of priests unto him?
Yes.
Didn't God say that?
Yes. We still have to be separated.
And regardless, and this was just an uncleanness, this is talking about the priest that's being unclean, yes, but it's also it also goes with me and you.
This is concerning the priest going into the holy
into the holy things.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
But if I come in skin contact with a person whose seed has gone from him, I'm unclean.
You're unclean. Whether you're the priest or not.
Whether you're the priest or high priest or not,
still go there.
I am unclean.
That's right.
And I gotta wash my flesh. Now check this out. Go ahead.
Or whosoever toucheth any creeping thing,
whereby
he may be made unclean.
Or so a water bug. You got millions of water bugs crawling around here. You mess around and come in contact with a water bug that's dead, you are unclean. Tom C.
Whereby he may be made unclean, or a man of whom he may take uncleanness. Whatsoever uncleanness he had. The soul which had touched any such shall be unclean unto the even, and shall not eat of the holy things unless he wash his flesh in water. So I ain't got to wash my clothes. No. All you got to do is wash your flesh. That's it. You come in contact with a person that is unclean, all I got to do is wash my flesh. Concerning the seed that goes from him, an unclean creeping thing, okay? Or any uncleanness here.
I got something else. If we are doing the uncleanness law, now this is why Paul had gloves on. Because being that anything that a dead man touches, this becomes unclean. And if you're doing the cleanliness law and I touch that, I'm unclean. I gotta go wash again. I gotta go wash. And that's why he had on gloves.
Yes. A lot of times you don't know the history of that shit.
That's right.
You don't know the history of that thing.
That's right.
So to be on the safe side.
That's right.
You just drop one on.
It just came to me. I said it just came to me. It just came to me.
First of all.
Tom C.
The soul which hath touched any such shall be unclean. And shall not eat of the holy things. Unless he wash his flesh with water.
Wash his flesh and water. Gotta go wash. Read.
Verse 7.
And
when the sun is down.
He
shall be clean.
He shall be clean.
And shall afterward eat of the holy things. Because it is his food.
Tom C.
That which died of itself. Uh-oh.
Okay, go ahead.
Or
is torn with beasts.
He shall not eat.
We shouldn't have so many people eating meat if you are not making the kill yourself. We should not be buying meat out of these stores because you don't know how it died. You don't know if it was torn by beasts. But we thrust these laws and throw it behind our back because we yearn and we desire the meat. We want burgers. Cold cuts. Chicken.
As long as it's flesh.
Long as it's flesh.
Give it to me.
And we cause ourselves to believe that we're doing the right thing. Well, now, we can't do all these laws. We come up with excuses to justify our own actions that is against God. We got brothers that hunt, that go out and hunt.
Yes.
Why you can't come in contact with these brothers that go out and hunt and get your meat like that? Why we gotta continue going to Met Supermarket? Western beef,
warehouse.
food bazaar,
Yeah, have them all.
halal,
Halal store.
the halal
That's a
store.
grocery store right downstairs. Halal.
Why do we do these things? Why do we take chances with our lives, dealing with God's law? Why? You gonna pay? Best to know. We need to know. Anytime we violate a law that's in this book, you're gonna pay with your life. You're gonna pay. Tom Sheep.
That which dieth of himself
Uh-huh.
or is torn with beasts, he shall not eat to defile himself therewith.
Uh-oh. So
Lord.
you mean to tell me anytime I eat meat or eat something that died of itself or was torn of beast, because you ain't sure. You ain't sure how the animal died, and you ain't sure if it was torn by beast or died of itself. So anytime I eat these things, I defile myself. I'm walking around here defiled, talking about thus saith the Lord. God is looking at you and thrusting you away because you're defiled. Go ahead.
They shall therefore keep mine ordinance.
Keep mine ordinance.
Lest they bear sin for it.
Lest they bear sin for
and
it.
Die therefore.
And die therefore.
If they profane it.
If they profane it.
I, the Lord, do sanctify them. There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing. A sojourner of the priest or a hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing. But if the priest buy any soul.
But if the priest buy any soul.
With his money.
He
shall eat of it.
He shall eat of it.
And he that is born in his house.
Shall
eat of his meat.
He shall eat of his meat.
If the priest's daughter also be married unto a stranger, she may not eat of an offering.
Why they called him a stranger? Because he wasn't from out the line of Levi. He's not a Levite. So therefore, the man that she married is a stranger to her. Go ahead.
She may not eat of an offering of the holy things. But if the priest's daughter be a widow or divorced, and have no child, and is returned unto her father's house, as in her youth, she shall eat of her father's meat. But there shall no stranger eat thereof. And if a man eat of the holy thing unwittingly,
in error,
then he shall put the fifth part thereof
unto it,
and shall give it unto the priest with the holy thing.
That's right.
And they shall not profane the holy things of the children of Israel, which they offer unto the Lord. Or suffer them to bear the iniquity of trespass when they eat their holy things. For I, the Lord, do sanctify them. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, and unto all the children of Israel, and say unto them, Whatsoever he be of the house of Israel, or the strangers of Israel, that will offer his oblation for all his vows, and for all his freewill offerings, which they will offer unto the Lord, or burnt offering, ye shall offer it at your own will.
You shall offer it at your own will.
A male without
God always wants these laws to be done according to your own will. Not being forced, not because someone's forcing you, not because you're living here. You're doing and you're fulfilling these laws because you have this, you got the desire to fulfill these laws. You want to live according to these commandments. Not someone forcing you. Because when someone's forcing you, it's not accepted. It don't count. Because I'm not doing this of my own free will. And anything that's not done on your own free will is not accepted. I'm only doing it because.
That's what stops you.
So all these laws and Shabbats that I've been keeping, but I really don't want to do it. I'm doing it because I live in your house. It's not added as merits. It's not counted as good.
No.
Because I'm being forced, or I'm doing it because for a reason. Tamshi.
You shall offer at your own will a male without blemish,
of the beeves,
of the sheep,
or
of the goats.
Or
Or whatsoever hath a blemish.
When you give up an offering to God, it has to be perfect, whole, perfect, without blemish.
100%.
How do you think about your God giving him a blemished up animal? Giving him something blemished. Don't we go and I give my parents the best? And nah, I ain't giving Ema this. Nah, it's all messed up. Let me get a nice one and give this to Ema or Abba. That's the same way you do with God. You don't give God something maimed and blemished up. Huh? We don't even know how to look for blemishes in these animals.
Okay.
But we still had brothers that wait for the eve of Passover to offer up a lamb before God. One guy did it on the video. And he picked up the poor lamb and he strung it up. And this is recent. And I ain't going to say the brother's name, but Lord have mercy. He hung the lamb up upside down. The poor lamb knew he was gone. After he hung him up upside down, he took the knife, whipped him. After he ripped him, it's on Facebook now. It's on Facebook. The baby popped out. He goes and picks the baby. I'm like, man, it's not, first of all, it's supposed to be a male of the first year. You done picked up and slaughtered a female.
That's a demonic ritual. It became a demonic.
You know what happened when you play around with these sacrifices and offerings? These things bring about a cut-off state of mind. We do things that causes us to be cut off before God, and we don't think nothing of it.
Never gonna get it right.
Nobody speaks on it. Nobody corrects. Nobody chastises. Nobody reproves. All we do is look at each other's face and we say shalom. Shalom, Ak. What do you mean shalom, Ak? It wasn't shalom between Samuel and Saul.
Nope.
I said it wasn't peace between Samuel and Saul. Why wasn't it peace between Samuel with Samuel concerning Saul? Because God rejected him because he rejected God. So why are we at peace with these people that do things contrary from what God said? I could be at peace with you, but I must correct you and tell you where you went wrong. Come on now. Why we wait till the eve of Passover to kill a lamb? And we want to roast them whole. Don't break the bones. Following the order of the Passover. Are you serious? You're not afraid? You ain't scared? No, apparently not. The fear of God is not in this place. I said the fear of God is not here. We are not afraid. But again, the only way we can be afraid is by fulfilling the commandments. We got to do it first before you become afraid. Now you become afraid to break these laws because you're starting to do it now. You're fulfilling it. Let's read.
But whatsoever hath a blemish, that shall ye not offer. For it shall not be acceptable for you. And whosoever offereth a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord to accomplish his vow, or a freewill offering in beeves or sheep, it shall be perfect to be accepted. There shall, bottom of 21.
Leviticus chapter 22, verse 21. But whatsoever had a blemish, you shall not offer the Lord to accept it. Okay, go ahead.
It shall be perfect to be accepted.
A peace offering. Whosoever offereth a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord to accomplish his vow, or a free will offering in beeves or sheep, it shall be perfect to be accepted. There shall be no blemish therein. So God is not going to accept this sacrifice or this offering if the animal is not perfect and whole.
It's not sick.
It ain't sick. It ain't maimed. They don't have scurvy. We don't check these animals for these things, for these ailments. We just take the animal and rip them, cock them up, roast them. Yeah. Then you got people in the corner saying prayers. Oh, Lord. Blah, blah. If I go to a place, I'm going to tell you right now, and one dude come in there with a lamb, start killing it. People in this corner start praying. I'm walking out. Oh, Lord God, I am not a part of this. I have nothing to do with this. I will declare my righteousness. I will declare the truth. No, like Nehemiah did. Nehemiah said, yo, he said, These people was bringing in wares and burdens. This one selling this on the Shabbat. This guy here, he's in the holies of holies. Tobiah, he said, man, oh Lord God, he said, I wasn't here when all this was going on. You better declare it. Don't walk around and don't say nothing.
Look, I ain't got nothing.
Declare it and tell God you don't agree with it.
Make it known you disagree.
I'm only here because I need to congregate. I'm only here because my master leaned upon me. Yeah. Yeah.
Just like the book.
I walk out. I see some atrocities going on. Huh?
Let's have him go.
The first time.
Let's go.
Blind or broken or maimed or having a wen or scurvy or scabbed, he shall not offer these unto the Lord, nor make an offering by fire of them upon the altar unto the Lord. Either a bullock or a lamb that have anything superfluous or lacking in his parts, that mayest thou offer for freewill offering, but for a vow it shall not be accepted.
What verse you at?
Verse 24. You shall not offer unto the Lord that which is bruised, crushed, broken, or cut. Neither shall you make any offering thereof in your land. Neither from a stranger's hand shall ye offer the bread of your God of any of these, because their corruption
is in them, and blemishes be in them.
They shall not be accepted
for you.
That stops a lot.
You know what's the blemish? He's a stranger. He is not of the tribe of Lewi.
Yes.
We're going to go a little deeper.
Yeah.
So Lewi had 3 sons.
Right.
Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. And the only ones that dealt with the officiating of the offerings and the sacrifices was the Kohathites. Gershon and Merari had different duties within the camp.
Right.
Some had the utensils. Some had dealt with the railings and the curtain rods and the covering. But then we got besides ourselves, and the Gershonites and the Merarites want to jump into the Kohathites' office. So Moses had to go to a couple. He said, do you think your job is light? Your job ain't light, man.
You got an important job.
You got an important job too. We take our job lightly before God, and we want to jump into positions
that you haven't been assigned.
That you have not been assigned to. That's not your place. We can't have all chiefs. We can't have all princes. My father said a good student is what?
A good leader.
A good leader was a good student.
A good student makes a good leader.
A good student makes a good leader. If I don't know how to listen, then you can't lead nothing. Because you don't listen. I got to be able to listen to orders before I be the one to give orders. You got to be a good listener. Don't allow pride and being vain, to alter and get in the way of your thinking. Come on, man. Time sheet.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, when a bullock or a sheep or a goat is brought forth, then it shall be 7 days under the dam. And from the 8th day, and thenceforth it shall be accepted for an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
And
whether it be cow or ewe, you shall not kill it and her young, both in one day.
The laws of God teaches us to have a heart. I said, God teaches us to have a heart.
That's right.
God shows us the things that a person do that shows and indicates that he has a heart or he don't have a heart. Huh? What you so concerned for tells me if you have a heart or not. What you don't show concern for shows me that you don't have a heart. But it's all correlated with what God said in this book. God set these things up.
Time sheet.
And when ye will offer a sacrifice of thanksgiving unto the Lord, offer it at your own will.
Time sheet.
On the same day it shall be eaten up. Ye shall leave none of it until the morrow.
Time sheet.
I am the Lord. Therefore shall ye keep my commandments.
Keep my commandments and do them.
I am the Lord. Neither shall ye profane my holy name, but I will be hallowed among the children of Israel. I am the Lord which hallowed you, that brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord.
And with that, I hope I already gotten what was bought.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom and God.
Do anybody have any questions concerning the cleanliness law? We will be starting teachings tomorrow at 11 o'clock. If no one has any questions, then we will close out.
48 days.
Yes, yes. We was commanded to count the Omer. Today is the 48th day of the Omer. We was commanded to count 7 Shabbats. 7 weeks. We're in the 6th week now. The 50th day comes in Monday. This Monday, which will be Shavuot. Shavuot is what? Feast of Weeks. So during the Feast of Weeks, during the Feast of Weeks, right? A lot of camps saying you can cook because it's a feast. But the only feast that I cook on is on Feast of Unleavened Bread. Because it states in the book that you can prepare whatsoever your soul lusted after on that day.
That's right.
I can cook on that day on the Feast of Unleavened Bread. But on Shavuot, which is the Feast of Weeks, it don't state that you could cook. It says, Meleket Aboda Lo Tasu. Melaka is work. Abad or Aboda means to serve. Me going in the kitchen and cooking is work. So if you need to prepare food, I prepare my food on Sunday before the sunset. Because when sunset comes, everything is prepared. Dishes is washed. Everything is clean. I don't do housework when it says Meleket Aboda. Housework is work. I'm not doing none of that on Shabbat. None of our appointed seasons that God said we should not do no work.
That's right.
It ain't only talking about work on your job.
Work period. All types of things.
It's not only talking about that.
Fixing, cleaning.
So, and with that, all I got what was bought. And I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom and God.
Tomorrow at 11 o'clock.